Have you ever walked into a room as the only woman, a woman of color, and ever felt that mix of isolation, hypervigilance, and this feeling of I have to prove why I deserve to be here? I have found that through years of conversation with women of color all across government, corporate, not-for-profit, technology, their stories are painfully consistent. We are experiencing discrimination because of the color of our skin, our accent, or how we dress. We're mistaken for other brown colleagues or treated as a diversity hire. Or we have our merits quietly questioned. We are left out of key decisions. We watch while others are sponsored into roles that we are actually more qualified for. Underneath this all, there's a real quiet fear. A fear that if we speak up about bias, we'll be labeled as difficult. A fear that no matter how hard we work, we will always be seen as less capable than our white peers. And a fear that if we show up as our full selves, we will actually pay a professional price. In fact, there was a time I believed that the solution was to fix myself. And you can see all the books behind me that I have read to fix myself. And I would say if I could only be more polished, more palatable, in fact, work harder, maybe the system will finally reward me. All that did is actually make me exhausted. And it even took me further away from what I really was looking for and trying to achieve. What I know now is this: women of color are not actually held back because of a lack of talent, ambition, or work ethic. We're actually held back by systems, cultures, and leadership standards that were actually never built with us in mind. The Rise and Radiate exists because we deserve leadership spaces where our experiences are named, our stories are believed, and our growth is actively championed. Not questioned, not minimized, not managed. So what is Rise and Radiate? It's a 12-month leadership development journey built on the voice framework: visibility, ownership, inclusion, courage, and equity, created specifically for women of color who want to move into leadership and executive leadership roles without shrinking themselves. Voice is a lived experience system that helps you to move from being silenced to be seen, to be heard, to be valued, and to be truly respected. Over the 12 months, we bring the voice to life through 4 immersive workshops, 8 executive coaching sessions, and a connected community of women of color. And last but not least, the Capstone Project, a Women of Color conference where you showcase your leadership and you map your next chapter. But what matters most is not the structure. It's actually more about the impact. And evidence from our latest Theory of Change Impact Report is clear. Let me give some numbers and voices to the stories and journeys we have already gone on. One of the participants joined us as a mid-level project manager in technology. She described herself as a diversity hire who got invited to meetings but never asked for an input. Through our visibility pathway, she really learned to reframe her visibility as service. She built those pre-meeting alliances and she claimed credit for the work she did. 6 months into the program, she was presenting her team's work at executive leadership meetings. It's the first time in 7 years that she has presented. In her words, "My voice is now expected, not edited." Isn't that incredible? Another leader, arrived believing that she really had to tone down her emotional expressiveness to be taken seriously in a mining and technology executive. In our ownership work, she identified her belief as an internalized bias, not a truth. She rewrote her leadership story. She centered her cultural strength and now leads unapologetically and holistically, bringing relationship building and emotional intelligence into the C-suite. Incredible. And then there's another leader, a senior policy advisor, who uses equity tools from the Rise and Radiate program to actually influence statewide policy. She conducted those equity impact assessments. She proposed alternatives. In fact, she really helped to secure commitment so that the equity outcomes became standards for future policy development. Her work has now influenced decisions affecting 2 million people. And these are not exceptions. In fact, 91% of our participants have already reached the advancing or leading levels of impact across the entire voice dimension. Within 6 months, 35% of the women have been promoted. 29% have stepped into board roles or governance roles, and more than half of them have actually secured an increase in their salary of at least 10%. For me, the most beautiful outcome isn't just the individual outcome and the individual success, it's the collective power that is emerging. Women of color from different sectors are forming action groups, mentoring circles, and cross-organizational collaborations. They are actually rebuilding the tables that they once felt lucky or actually even grateful to sit on. So, if you're listening to this and thinking, I am tired of being the only one in this room, I am ready to move from doing the work to actually shaping the decisions. I want a space where I can bring my whole self, and it's not just tolerated, but it's actually celebrated as a leadership strength. Then Rise and Radiate is for you. The next cohort is now open for women of color all across Australia who are ready to step into senior and executive parts. I would like to welcome women from Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, Adelaide, Hobart, Perth. Let's come together. You will be joining a small, carefully held community where we will tell the truth about what it means to lead as a woman of color. And then we will give you the frameworks, the coaching, and the sisterhood circles to do something about it. If this resonates with you, I would love for you to take the next step. Please click on the link with this video and learn more about this program. Download our impact report summary and book a short clarity call with me. We will explore your goals, your context, your challenges, and whether this is the right season for you to rise and radiate. Your voice matters. Your leadership is needed. The world is waiting for it. Rise, radiate, and transform.